Do you suffer or have you ever suffered from inflammation, bloating, and swelling that has caused discomfort and pain throughout your life and have even questioned, how the heck do I get rid of this? Well, in today's video, I want to share with you a specific, unique routine that I've put together that has absolutely changed my digestive process in my body and has absolutely eliminated all of my inflammation, bloating, and swelling. So let's go check out today's episode.
Let's go. You are incredible. Your body has a purpose. Your life has a purpose. You were designed to live the best life possible.
Disclaimer: there's a lot of words I'm about to butcher. Don't judge me.
Mic check. Mic sound okay? Camera 1 good? Camera 2 good? All right, here we go.
What's going on, everyone? It is a brand new week, and I'm super excited to be plugged in with you in this platform. You are tuned in to listen. You're not defeated, and I'm your host, David Hernandez. The goal of each episode is to help you live a life of freedom through health in a simple, smart, and sustainable way. Every Tuesday, I bring a brand new episode that will provide value with the hopes of leading you to that life of freedom. If you are watching me through my YouTube channel and you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to subscribe. You can do that by clicking the subscribe button. Also click the little bell so you can get notifications of all our up and coming episodes. And if you're listening to me on your favorite podcast station, I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't already clicked the follow button, do so now so you don't miss an episode. So I want to share a story with you all. I've not publicly spoken about it very much, but couple months ago, I'd say about 3 months ago, I had a very uncomfortable experience happen that was filled with pain and just, that's all I can describe it as. Just disgusting experience that I had to go through. I was preparing to travel international, and before I decided to go out to my wife to a taco stand to go get some infamous tacos that were talked about as being very good in the area. And so we got some tacos de carne asada, or steak tacos, and I also got some tacos al pastor, which is basically pork tacos in some chorizo type sauce, right? So I got 2 steak tacos and 2 pastor tacos, and my wife got the normal steak tacos that she normally gets. After we ate, I was feeling normal. Everything felt okay. However, the next morning, I started to feel discomfort in my stomach, and I knew something was wrong. See, one thing that I have experienced throughout my years of just getting connected with my body and just understanding myself, I quickly learned how to listen to my body. And I've become so connected with it that I've become very sensitive to recognizing and realizing when something is wrong. So I remember that next day I told my wife, hey, I think something's wrong. I don't think the tacos sat well. She's like, but I ate the same ones. It couldn't have been the tacos. But I remembered that I had ate 2 of those pork tacos specifically. So that was Sunday. Monday came around and the pain intensified, and it was confirmed. I knew those tacos had done something to my stomach. I knew that pork was probably bad, and I should have known better because it was right after the hurricane season here in Florida. And sadly, a lot of times when we lose power, some of these businesses don't throw out their food if they lose power. So anyways, I'm not going to get so much into that part of the story, but what I do want to clarify is that all of this that I'm going to share today started because of this experience. I had a bad interaction with food that was bad, and it intoxicated me. So I went to the doctor, I got some antibiotics, and I then traveled internationally. I was out for about a week, and during that trip, I noticed that I wasn't feeling better. I came back to the States, I went back to the doctor, and they said, look, we got to try some different antibiotics. They did a bunch of tests and they finally gave me a new round of antibiotics. And about 10 days of that, I was still not feeling good. So after a period of about 2 months of taking up to 5 different types of antibiotics, finally going through colonoscopy and endoscopies and doctors really not figuring out what was happening, miraculously, I've got better. And I believe it was a combination of the medications that I took and a combination of my faith and just a combination of the body kind of fighting all things out for its good that made me become better. So we fast forward and now we're at 3 months or so. But after that period of kind of getting to a state where I was feeling better, I started to process and think, well, what's going on? Not only did I eat these tacos that were bad, but there was clearly something that my body wasn't happy with throughout this whole journey as I was taking the antibiotics, because I realized that there were certain foods that I would eat that would still cause a lot of bloating, a lot of swelling, even though there was some type of stomach bug, some type of virus or bacteria going on in there that the body was trying to fight. I realized that there was still something that was causing this bacteria to kind of stay in the stomach. And what happens with bloating or kind of the swelling in the stomach, it's because there's an imbalance in the stomach. There's bacteria in there that the body is not comfortable with. It doesn't like it. And oftentimes, as I've been doing some of this research, I found out that there were a lot of foods that we consume that actually increase the probability of us being swollen, bloated, and just not feeling good, also impacting our digestive process. So if any of you know me well enough, you all know that I'm just fascinated with the body. And so I quickly started researching and trying to pinpoint, okay, what is going on? How can I help my body? Because look, I understand that there's different circumstances in our life that, for example, I could not control me eating those tacos. Yeah, I could have said, well, I shouldn't have ate them in the first place, but when we consume certain foods that we have no control of if they're bad or not, and they end up doing something to our body, the only thing we can do is look for different ways that we can help our body get strong, help our body fight off whatever it is we have. In the same way, when we get a cold or when we get a flu, what do? We find ways to increase the immune levels of our body so that it can fight. It can continue to deal with whatever it's trying to fight off. So as I started researching, I was looking at, well, what's happening? What can I do to just make my stomach feel better? What can I do to help my body? What can I do to eliminate maybe certain interferences or things that are causing my stomach to not feel good? And today in this episode, I want to break down some of the information that I've discovered that I've been implementing. Now, what I share with you today is not intended to go against anything that you are currently doing, to substitute or to replace anything within your nutrition or anything that you might be currently doing, whether it's advised by your medical doctor or profession. All I'm sharing with you is information that has helped me. So please, all of this information that I share, take it as information and apply it as you feel fit. And also, if you have to, maybe get an opinion with a medical expert to see if you're okay or allowed to be able to do some of these things that I've implemented. This is my journey, my experience of what's been helping me this last almost now 2 months to really get my stomach and digestion to a place where I think it's been the healthiest it's ever been. And looking at this journey, I want to bring this into this time period. I was kind of waiting, trying to find the right moment to introduce this topic. And I think it fits perfectly in the season that we're in, because a lot of the foods that I'm going to talk about today are a lot of the foods that are happening during this holiday season. These last 3 to 4 weeks, we've been talking about advice and information that can help you take control of your health during the holiday season, during gatherings, during special occasions, because I believe it is important to enjoy all areas of our life and all moments of our life and have the ability to decide. Have the information, the knowledge to take control of your health. So this information, I'd like you to take it and try to see where you can implement it, what ways you can start to implement it during the holiday season and carry this through the beginning of next year and throughout the year so that we can start helping us continue to get healthy with our digestion, right? So what is this? What is the cause of a lot of inflammation, bloating, and swelling? Well, the thing that we have in common, or the common denominator in this that produces it, is food. Because in order to have swelling or bloating, well, we first have to eat something, right? And oftentimes the foods that we consume are going to be the direct derivative of us being swollen or dealing with the bloating, right? So what are some of these foods? Foods that cause inflammation, swelling, or bloating are refined carbohydrates, and a lot of it is such as white bread, pastries, white rice, foods that are starchy, in other words, right? They're refined, they come from a white flour base, or anything white is an often indicator or a producer of inflammation. French fries or other fried foods, frying of it, the fryness, the batter of these foods is also known to cause inflammation. And then we have sugars, such as soda, sugar-sweetened beverages, right? And then just sugar in general is a big producer of inflammation. Also, we have processed meats, such as hot dogs, sausage, corn, beef, and anything that is processed meat that is just blended together, smashed in, and made into something decadent, to say the least, is also an indicator, or is a food that will cause inflammation. Also, certain types of fats, right? In some cases, margarine, shortening, and lard. So when we're looking at this, what these things have in common is that a lot of these foods are highly processed foods. Highly processed and high carbohydrate or high starched foods. And when we look at the holidays, what is that primary food choice? Kind of in that line. High sugar foods, high processed foods, or high starchy types of foods. So one thing I started doing really quickly was evaluating, are there any foods that I can eliminate? Are there foods that I am eating that might be causing the bacteria growth to keep coming alive? Because remember, I was going through that period of trying to figure out what's happening. I was under antibiotics and taking so many different medications. But one thing I did was evaluate, are there foods I can quickly remove? Can I stop eating white rice? So I went back to a period of when I was eating white rice. I now completely removed it and started going into brown rice. Things that cause these inflammations are things that we can now start taking control. So what I did was I went and I researched, and I came across something that is known as a specific carbohydrate allowable foods, right? Or in this case, they title it as specific carbohydrate diet, okay? I don't like to use that word because of the term, but you all understand what this is. And basically, this is a guide, okay? It's a guide that shows us which carbs are beneficial for us, which foods are beneficial for us in terms of higher quality nutrients. Now, when we look at this list, and I have a copy of the list here, it is very specific and sometimes even very strict. So the idea isn't for me to tell you to go download this specific carbohydrate diet and follow it to the T. That's not the point I'm coming across with. It's just simply to allow us to gain information that we could possibly evaluate our food choices and look at, can I swap some of these foods that might not be the best for me? Can I swap out some foods that are producing inflammation and bloating? Can I swap out things in the pantry that just don't benefit me? And so this document, you guys can look for it. You guys can Google all this information, specific carbohydrate diet, and it's going to literally give you a list. It's a two pages of allowed foods and 2 pages of foods to avoid. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate this. It's not intended. I'm not telling you to go and download this and follow this. All I'm suggesting is that in the same way I gain some insight and information of things that I could test and try out that I've learned that work good for me, I invite you all to do the same thing. I don't believe that we should live restricted. I believe that we should find a balance. However, if we understand and we quickly identify that there are foods that aren't making my body feel good, then I am a firm believer we should eliminate it. We should restrict ourselves from certain foods to help ourselves feel better. Because what is the goal here, my friends? The goal is to live a healthy life. The goal is to live a life of longevity that gives us a higher quality of life, a better quality of life. And me, I'm a big advocate of finding things that I can try or change within what I'm already doing to help me achieve that. Right? So that was the number one thing I started doing, reevaluating, looking at the food choices that I'm making to see how can I make that change? What foods can I eliminate to make my body feel better? The next thing that I started doing is I created a unique morning routine for myself. And this routine is it's like a ritual. It's religious for me. It's every morning I follow this because I really quickly started to see the benefits in my body, okay? And this information I'm going to share, again, you can try it. See how it works for you. It may work good, it may not. You might find that one item is better than the other or that it just doesn't work for you. So I started researching what other things can help my inflammation or my digestion. One thing that I started researching on that I came across, which I already knew, but I wasn't really doing as much, was looking at, okay, what fruits can I eat that can help me in the digestive process? So this fruit, more than likely, you've already heard of it, and it's called papaya. And why is it that papaya helps with digestion is because it contains a natural digestive enzyme called papain. And that may help support digestion, right? Research has been done, and this enzyme has been in context with supplements and other whole fruits. Now, there are other fruits that have this particular enzyme, and papaya is one of the main sources of it. So what I did was I started testing this out on my body. The other fruit that also has this digestive enzyme is pineapple. So what my morning routine consists of is, moment I get out of bed, I go down to the kitchen and I prepare myself a bowl of papaya. And if I happen to have some pineapple, if it's in season or whatnot, I will typically mix them both. But I primarily just stick to papaya. Okay, so I get a small bowl. I put about half a cup or so to a cup of papaya. And then what I do is I add salt and lime, specifically lime. What I learned is that lime improves acidic levels in the stomach and it stimulates the release of bile. What is bile? Since I'm on the topic, let's look this up. Bile is a digestive fluid, right, that is processed by the liver and stored in the gallbladder. So it helps with the digestive process, okay? And in that, as it stimulates the release of the bile, sea salt provides the chloride your body needs to produce stomach acid. The complementary combination of lime and salt help your body digest food, absorb nutrients, and contribute to a better feeling within your stomach. So knowing that about lime and salt and knowing what I learned about papaya, well, I said, well, why don't I put them together? So every morning, a cup papaya, I put about a quarter lime and about a half a teaspoon of salt. And that salt is really to your tasting, right? We don't want to overdo it. It's just simply a little bit of salt to just help it release this chloride in the body and also produce the stomach acid within our body, right? I eat that. That's the first thing I do, okay? Then as soon as I finish that, as I continued to do some research, I started looking at, well, what other ingredients can help me feel better? What other foods or things can I drink to help me feel better? Well, that quickly led me to green tea. I've talked about green tea a little bit in the past. I've also talked about ginger tea. And the reason these are both important is because a specific also enzyme that we're going to talk about here in a moment, but green tea has been shown to have a lot of health benefits, right? Including aiding digestion and soothing the stomach. Why is it? Well, because green tea is essentially rich in polyphenols, right? And antioxidants, and can help to soothe the symptoms of cardiovascular and gastrointestinal disorders. So green tea is also very great for digestion. Now, to backtrack real quick, I just want to share with you why else papaya is so crucial and what other foods have that papain enzyme. There's a few others. And when I mentioned ginger, I remembered about this, that kiwi fruit, ginger, asparagus, kimchi, which is a Korean dish, sauerkraut, yogurt, and kefir, I believe that is. Yeah, kefir are also other foods that have this specific digestive enzyme. And these are things that help our stomach to digest better. So I would say, if you don't like papaya, then maybe try kiwi. If you don't like kiwi, then maybe try pineapple. Or maybe try some yogurt, which is another thing that I've been doing throughout this process, which I'll share with you a little bit later in today's episode. So also, when we're looking at green tea, it also has other health benefits, and you all can do some of this research on your own if you want. So I'll do the papaya with lime and salt. Once I eat that, I have the water with my cup, with my cup in there heating up, and I then drink my green tea. And then immediately after that green tea, another thing that I do after is I drink coffee. Now, based on your sensitivity with coffee, you may want to look into decaffeinated coffee, right? Now, why is coffee so important, or why is it a good thing? Well, looking at coffee was found to stimulate production of the digestive hormone gastrin and hydrochloric acid present in gastric juice, both of which help break down food in the stomach. Coffee also stimulates a secretion, a hormone that increases the production of bile, also involved in digestion. So what are all of these things doing essentially? And why did I kind of put these in this order? You don't have to do it in this order. I just found that for me, eating that fasted, that is the key here, my friends, that I have found to be a game changer. As soon as I get out of bed, go to the restroom, do my needs, go downstairs, and I prepare this papaya, lime, salt. I eat that fasted, okay? I immediately kickstart the digestive process in my stomach. I kickstart the acidic balances in my stomach, right? I kickstart all of that stuff happening, the bile being released in my stomach. Then immediately I drink the hot green tea. Again, what am I doing? I'm stimulating more of that digestive process to start to happen. I start to release more of these enzymes from my stomach. Then I go to coffee. Again, coffee is another thing that helps with the digestion. It increases the production of bile. Bile helps digestion. And because we've been asleep for 6, 7, 8 hours, me sticking to 8 hours, my stomach process is a little shut down at that point. So I activate it and I get it going again, right? And I promise you, my friends, and I'm going to be kind of explicit, and we're all okay here because we're learning something together, is immediately as I finish through this, sometimes I don't even get through finishing my coffee when I'm already running to the restroom to be able to release, right? To be able to do the restroom, and just all the digestion process has begun and I am able to use the restroom, right? And now what's happened is the more consistent I've been with this, I have literally created my body to almost work on clockwork. Moment I wake up, I jump through that routine, and immediately my digestion is just starting to function. And I've noticed swelling gone down, bloating completely gone away, and the way I feel in my stomach, the gut, the feeling in my gut has just been so much better. So all of this that I'm sharing is really important for our gut health. We sometimes look past this, but gut health is extremely important. I remember when I was during that period, there were times I could not sleep. I was restless. I was in terrible amounts of pain. I looked like I was 3 months pregnant. Like, it was really, really bad. I was very sensitive. And all of you know, or any of you know that have dealt with stomach pain or stomach bloating issues, it's painful. It is not good. It doesn't feel good. So I've been doing this every single day, going on now for about 2 months, and my health on this side of things has been incredibly better. Another thing that I've been researching is I've been looking again, well, what other foods? And another one that I've been incorporating throughout the day, and sometimes primarily in the evening, is peppermint tea. Okay? So why is peppermint tea? One of the most widely known benefits of peppermint tea is for easing stomach issues. Peppermint leaf contains a compound essential oils including menthol, menthone, and limelon. Yeah, I believe that's how you say it. I'm butchering these. I'm so sorry. But what they do is they help calm your stomach, the upset stomach, and aid digestion. That's it right there. Matter of fact, that's what I have right here, right? I've got peppermint tea. And I usually do this towards the evening because, again, it calms down. It soothes. So throughout the day, as I'm eating, I sometimes drink one during midday and then in the evening. And that does is help soothe, helps calm my stomach, and also spikes and increases the digestive process, okay? So these two teas, in the green tea, sometimes I'm a big advocate of also ginger. So I'll cut fresh ginger and put it in that green tea, and now I'm combining both of those incredibly helpful teas and roots into my digestion. And so the peppermint tea I'll do throughout the day, right? Another food that I have found that is a really good benefit, which I'm continuing to do more of the research on this, is seaweed. Now, seaweed, for some, you gotta look into if it's okay for you to consume seaweed because it has a high level of iodine, okay? Now, the seaweed, the benefits of it are it aids in digestion, it has high antioxidants, it has high levels of fiber, which again help with the digestive process, and it's a prebiotic. All plants contain fiber, but seaweed also has other odd types of carbohydrates that we lack in the digestive system, meaning digestive enzymes to digest. So there are specific enzymes that our body needs to be able to digest what we consume. These include carrageenan, galactin, and many more. These carbohydrates then become foods for the bacteria, and you can research some of this if you'd like to learn more about it. What it directly influences is the bacteria dominations in your gut, right? So again, it's about cleansing. It's about helping eliminate bad bacteria in our stomach to help with digestion, but also help the gut function better. Okay, and a lot of these we may be familiar with them when we eat sushi, right? The nori seaweed. There's a few others. It starts with the W. One second. Wakame, I believe it is. Here we go. Wakame. So there's 4 different types of seaweed. We got a green seaweed, or also algae. Remember, seaweed is an algae. So we got green algae such as sea lettuce or ova and sea grapes. The most common ones are going to be brown algae such as kombu. Kombu is found in a lot of miso soups, the little strips of seaweed that are in there. That's kombu. Kelp is also part of that same family. And then wakame. Wakame seafood is when you go to a supermarket and they have kind of that seaweed salad. That seaweed is called wakame. And I want to get your feedback because I'm researching on how to prepare that myself to start incorporating it into my daily digestion, into my foods. And I want to do a YouTube video on how to make it. If you want to learn how to make this wakame salad or the seaweed salad, drop in the comment section there. Let me know because I'd like to do a video on how to make this. The third one is red algae, such as dulce, laver, and nori, which is found in seaweed, right? In your sushi, rather. And then you have blue-green algae, such as chlorella and spirulina, or spirulina in English, right? So these are 4 different types of seaweed. And what we want to do is look at, well, what if we try this? How is this going to help me? How can this help my digestion? Because some of the benefits, like I said, it has high levels of vitamins and minerals. Seaweed is much more nutritious dense than any land vegetable, right? So the quality, the nutrients that we're getting from it can be beneficial to us, right? So having an increase in vitamins and minerals, DHA and EPA, omega-3 fatty acids, which is great, right, for our heart, aids with digestion, antibiotics, like I said, fiber, and prebiotics, okay? So this is another good food that maybe you can incorporate and see what that does. I had a recent conversation with one of my nieces who was also dealing with her stomach and bloating and just not feeling too good. And I told her about some of these foods that we've been talking about today, things that I've been doing. And I specifically told her about the seaweed. And she told me, now that you say that, I realize that after I eat seaweed, I tend to feel better. My stomach feels better. And that is because of what we shared today, right? So this is another food that you can incorporate. And then obviously probiotics, right, are something that I've been incorporating to my everyday choices as much as possible. You can get it in the form of a powder. You can get it in the form of a liquid. You can also get it in the form of a yogurt, right? We've been implementing, my wife and I, Greek yogurt, and we've been doing that with a couple of very specific fruits, whether that's papaya for me or sometimes even blueberries. Blueberries have great antioxidants as well that help our body. So in finding small little things that we can start to do today that we can incorporate with the goal of making us feel better. So those are some of the things that I've been doing, my morning routine, things that I've been incorporating with my everyday foods to help my stomach feel better. So my advice for you is take this information that I shared with you and try it. Pick one if that's where you want to start. Let's just pick one that you can try, and maybe try the green tea in the morning fasted. Now, I don't add anything to these foods, right? Like a lot of times they might say, well, I don't like the green tea. I'm going to add some honey. Well, we've been talking about how sugar is a product or an ingredient that can produce inflammation. So if we're having green tea with honey, well, we're basically defeating the purpose of drinking the green tea. Is it bitter? Yes. Does it taste a little bit strong? Yes. However, what are we gaining from it, I believe, is much greater than how it tastes, than if it doesn't taste so appealing, right? Black coffee is what I choose. And I usually have about 2 to 3 cups. That's it. Because a lot of caffeine, right, is not also good for the body. So if you can't consume caffeine, then I would say you drink a decaf to help still get the benefits from that production of bile to help with the digestive process, right? Same thing with the peppermint tea. Drink it without honey. The emphasis is here to keep things as pure as possible to help us with the digestion. And I know at the beginning, papaya might not be the best fruit. It might not taste as good. You may not like it. However, doing it with lime and salt has been the biggest game changer. Not only does it taste good, but it also helps in other ways, right? So, my friends, I hope this was helpful. The purpose of this is, again, to bring insight that can help you through your health journey and help you live better, okay? That is my goal. That is my heart cry. That is what I desire for you, especially during the holiday season when there's just not the best food sometimes, right? So doing things with the end in mind to keep us on track and to make us feel better is the ultimate goal here, okay? So in there, if you haven't already downloaded the guide on how to eat for holidays, gatherings, and special occasions, we've got only a couple more weeks before I'm going to stop giving this resource away. Download it, learn some information that you can carry on throughout this holiday season. Take some of the information that I talked about today. Remember the papaya with the lime and salt, green tea immediately after, and the coffee immediately after, and then peppermint throughout the day, peppermint tea throughout the day and in the evening, incorporating also other fruits as papaya, kiwi, also utilizing some probiotics such as yogurt or even the powdered probiotic, and then also looking at possibly incorporating some seaweed and seeing how that helps you with your digestion, right? Ultimately, the goal here, my friends, is to look at, if you'd like, download the specific carbohydrate diet list and look at what foods can I eliminate that are going to help me to feel better. If you have any questions, drop those in the comment section. I'd love to answer them for you. And if you want to learn how to make wakame salad or seaweed salad, let me know in the comment section so that I can put together an awesome YouTube video showing you simply how simple it is to make at home. I do have a culinary background for many of you that don't know. I love cooking, and it would be a joy to prepare that for you all. And then again, any other questions that you have in and around the information that I talked about today, drop it in the comment section. I'd love to answer those for you. And if you have any very specific questions that you want to elaborate more and kind of get my insight on it, you can do that. Send it to me via email to david@davidhernandez.co, david@davidhernandez.co. You can see it here at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and shoot me an email. Look, I love to connect with you. If we haven't already connected on social media, let's do that. You can do it on my handle at Dave K. Hernandez. At Dave K. Hernandez. You can find me on all social media platforms. Let's connect. And also, if you want to know how I can support you, if you want to know more about my one-on-one coaching, my group coaching, my free Friday trainings, if you want to just learn about how I can help you live a life of freedom through health, visit my website, book a conversation there. I'd love to chat with you. You can do that at www.davidhernandez.co, davidhernandez.co, so that I can connect with you. Every Friday, free Friday trainings. Join my community. I want to answer your questions. The goal of these Friday trainings are to bring value. The first 30 minutes, I shine light on a topic. The next 30 minutes is to answer your questions. Check out more information about how you can join that community. All the information is there in the description. Click the link so that you can get more insight. My friends, this is the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this information was helpful. If you have a specific topic that maybe you'd like me to break down, let me know. Drop it in the comment section or shoot me an email. I want to connect with you so that I can continue to bring insight that is going to benefit your life. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Listen, You're Not Defeated, and I'm your host, David Hernandez. Remember, my goal is to help you live a life of freedom through health in a simple, smart, and sustainable way. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you are incredible. Go out, crush it, and live your best life.